guys, welcome back to my channel, The Cheery Fashionista. So let's talk about what's going on in the world, especially in this United States. Okay, so I just read an article about a United Airlines pilot who at the last minute decided not to fly the plane, and I'm going to tell you the backstory. So this flight was scheduled to depart from San Francisco to, I believe, New Mexico. And, everything was fine. Everyone was seated. Everyone had boarded. And, they were just waiting for clearance. You know how those things are, maybe security checks, fuel, all that stuff. So they were just waiting for paperwork. And one of the passengers decided, they were bored and they wanted to entertain themselves. And so they went to the lavatory and decided to smoke, not a cigarette, but weed. Or is it pot? And that was the beginning of all problems for this flight. So obviously, and this is the thing I don't understand about people, like it says there are signs everywhere not to smoke. And then on top of that, in an airplane, there are so many risks associated with smoking. And then this person decides this is what they're going to do. And so when this happened, obviously their alarms went off. They were taken off the plane. But something interesting happened. The pilot decided that they were not going to risk, a drug test. Apparently, these pilots are subject to random drug tests whenever they are on duty. And so, he said he had 30 years more working for United Airlines, and he was not going to risk it, due to the secondhand smoking. Remember, this person was smoking in this tube, like in the lavatory, but obviously when the door opened and with the piping and everything, the smoke is going to be in the in the cabin. So the flight was canceled and people had to deplane. I don't even know what happened. Obviously they were booked on other flights, but this is such an inconvenience when people go into these kinds of public places and they do things without being considerate of other people. Someone may have been going to see a sick relative. Someone may have wanted to go on vacation. Like that small selfish act has cascading consequences, not just for the person, but for everyone involved. So yeah, you guys, can we try and be considerate of other people? Can you do that at home in your own space where you're not going to affect other people? And on top of that, obviously there's that exposure of secondhand smoking, not just for this pilot, but for everyone on board. I feel like it's so unfair. So people are not, people are just doing the most. I don't know whether it was about, going viral or why that was, but can we just be considerate of other people and their plans, especially when it comes to travel? Because people usually have a reason to go from point A to point B. You guys, let me know what you think about this. Was the pilot being extra? Should they have just flown the plane? And let me know what you guys think. Okay, so you guys know that the United Nations Assembly is currently happening in New York. This is an annual event and it usually happens around September, so this is it. So obviously there has been a lot of drama, with Trump telling the world leaders, like not exactly what I'm saying, but something like, you guys are going to hell and I'm the one who's going to help you on your way there. Anyway, you guys, one person who's trending with this is Violet Affleck. So Violet Affleck is the daughter of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. And you guys, it was just the other day that, the two got married and, they had her. And now this girl who is now like a youth has is now an activist, and she rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, while at the United Nations she said that, masks should be mandatory, and she kind of schooled world leaders, about the ongoing pandemic, and, them not taking it seriously. And, she was like, everyone should wear a mask because, she was talking about these viruses and how they're so contagious. And that's her thing, you guys. She's allowed to have an opinion. But this is the thing for me, and I think a lot of people can relate. Those things are not easy to wear. First of all, she's wearing a mask, which is great because she feels like, there's a danger out there. But her family is not. So if you cannot convince your mom and your dad to wear masks like you, how are you going to convince world leaders and us that we should wear masks? That's number one. Number two, the kid. And obviously, maybe, I don't know whether she had the virus. I think I read somewhere that, she may have, contacted coronavirus at one point or another. I'm not sure. But, they have said that the dangers have gone. Like, there was a lot of talk after that, the dangers of COVID were in the past. So what is she talking about? And for me, like, fine, she feels that way, and she's always wearing a mask. But does she know how itchy those things are? I don't miss the itchiness that those masks come with. They can't hear what someone is saying. The only thing they're good at is, if you're in public and you don't want to be seen, then they are the mask you need. You can go around incognito almost. You can see people and pretend you don't know them. But there have been studies that have shown that masks, those blue masks, do not, did not help anything. So I don't know what she's on, but a lot of people were very, very upset. They called her delusional in the comments. They said that she's a nepo baby, and she should, stick to doing youth stuff. I know she's into activism, and that's great. And there's some other things that she's called for, which I feel are great for people who are going in, kids who are going to be in the future, and using her her name to speak about things that a lot of people are not able to do. But enforcing masks is not going to happen, I don't think. And I think it should be a personal choice. You guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, Meghan Markle haters. I'm sorry to tell you, but Meghan Markle is not going anywhere. She is influential. Those are not my words. Those are the words of Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos, who claims that Meghan Markle is very influential. She's successful by every measure. He was referring to their very first show, her show with Harry, which was very successful. And a lot of people were thinking, oh, because the With Love season 2 was not as successful, that she was dwindling and maybe she was going to lose her spot and whatever. But you guys, the products that she talks about, her products are very, they sell out. She talks about a blanket. She doesn't even have to talk about it. A blanket in the background sells out. Jams, wines, they're selling out. So this is how the CEO is measuring her influence. She may not be doing very well with shows, but she's influential, with people, and that's what counts. You guys have to remember that these companies, they look at things long term. They don't look at, her show had 5,000 viewers yesterday, and so, oh my god, let's cancel her. That's not how they look at things. There's so many metrics that go into deciding whether someone is going to be profitable to a business in the long run. So you guys, those who are you know, hoping to see her fail. I'm so sorry to tell you that it's not going to happen. And you know, she's continuing to make big strides in business, um in, you know, her TV shows, and I'm sure she's going to come up with more ventures that are going to be, you know, interesting to people. And you guys have to remember, every day you have new things to talk about. Every day things are happening that people are going to be like, oh, you know what, I didn't like her before, but now you know, I see her point of view and I like her. So you guys, I'm just here to remind you that this woman is very influential and she's not going anywhere. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Bye.